Hello, everybody. It is Dula Lakeisha Matisse here, and I am so excited to have you tuning in today. You know why? Because it's Black History Month, and you know why? Because I got some special things to share with you today. Also, this is my first video that I am going live with using StreamYard, and I also wanted to do special honors today for a few folks in my life. And not just that, I want to talk about something. I don't want to just get so deep on you before we even start here. But yeah, once again, my name is Lakeisha Matthews. Let me introduce myself again. And I am the doula. What kind of doula? I'm a rebound and reset doula. And basically, I help women to rise to greater heights. I help women to rebound and reset their lives so that they can live their life on purpose for their higher purpose in their professional lives, their personal lives, and their spiritual lives. And with that being said, let's dig right in. So, first things are first. We had a book compilation out, and from that book compilation, Alicia George, she is the author, right? She put this book compilation together of Superb Woman, Not Superwoman. Now, how many of you out here know that being a superb woman takes some work, but also being a superwoman also takes some work? And how many of you out there have ever worn the superwoman cape? I'm telling you, like time and time again, some of us or some of you may still be wearing that cape right now and you don't want it anymore. You're like, you want to throw the cape in, right? You want to tap out because it is no longer cool. It is really not no longer cool to be exhausted, to be so worried, to be so drained, to can't take care, you can't even take care of yourself, right? Because you are here being a superwoman. Let's transition over into being a superb woman, as Apostle Alicia George would say. So, first, kudos to Alicia George for putting this book compilation together. This is the book. It's called Superb Woman, Not Superwoman. Yes. And I have a chapter in here, and that is why I would like to share this because on her talk show that she has, she is going to be it's called Around the Table. She hosts different authors. If you're an author, a new author, get in contact with her. You can find her on social media at Alicia George, right? Get in contact with her and get on her show. Get on her show and advertise your book and talk more about your book so other people can know what it's all about and they can buy a copy of your book and see what it does for them, right? Because we all each have our individual folks that we like, that we can vibe with, that we tune in with, and that can teach us, right? Yes, I am a master educator, but I'm not for everybody. You know, my style of teaching, what I do, how I do what I do, is a little bit different. And just like your style, it can be a little bit different too. Why? Because we're fearfully and wonderfully made, because we are individual, right? Because we are unique. Should I say more? So I just want to give honor to Alicia George and just thank her very much for this book compilation because there's some superb women that are authors in this book, and they're going to be talking about their stories even more, bringing this back for Black History Month because this is really, really important. Not just self care, which is important, but also just, it's time. This is a time when I'm talking about rebounding and resetting. This is a time to throw off the cape. Take the cape off and throw it down. Take the cape off and let people know I'm done. I'm done with this. You know why? Because it causes us not only stress, but it causes us a lot of different issues that we end up having in our life because things are starting to manifest, right? Okay, I'm not going to get into the next thing I was going to say. I'm going to move forward. So our next thing is I just would like to just go more light, go over a little bit more and be a little bit more light and just say some shout outs to our February birthdays. February birthdays up in the house. Today is February 19th. Special folks today. I got special folks all through February. February 6th, February 5th, February 19th, 18th. I'm trying to tell you, February is the month. February 22nd, 20th. I mean, oh my gosh, February people are amazing. I will say that and I give you a shout out because I want to say, not say, just sing. How about this? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to February's. Happy birthday to you and many more. And you know, we do the old school one too. Right? Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Also give a shout out to Beverly, rest in peace. It was a February 19th as well. And also give a shout out to CJ, rest in peace. It was also a February 19th as well. And then we got our folks that's still living, thriving, and vibing with us today. Wendy, whoop, whoop, happy birthday. Got Maurice, whoop, whoop, happy birthday. We got Michi, whoop, whoop, happy birthday. And to all the rest of you Februaries, I say happy birthday to you. So I had to just give that shout out. I just had to do it because today is a very special day. Now, moving forward, this is Black History Month, right? Black History Month. I've been big in Black History Month. Uh, I do have a background in the arts of performing and directing, right? So, with that being said, I have a very special place for the arts, theater arts, and performing arts, and just artists in my heart, because it helped me to survive a lot of things. It helped me to be able to express myself in ways I never thought I would be able to express myself. Yes, yes, so amazing, right? Through the arts, I would have never known until I tapped into my creativity. I have been a performer for a very, very long time, and I say that to say that my dad has had a very influential and still does with music. So that music side of me came from my dad. My mom would write poetry and she would write different things and she would construct little models of certain things. So I picked up a lot of the artistic side from my mom and my dad, and with music heavily from my father, right? And that being said, when I was able to be exposed to the arts to college, right? Community college at first, it was like, wow, you can really do this. You can get a degree in this. This is really awesome. It was like a place where I can release a lot of things pent up inside of me. It was a place where I learned how to become a different type of character. I learned how to get into character. I learned how to do synopsis on characters. I learned how to uh, break a character down to see the motive behind why, or to figure out how I needed to respond or act, or if I needed to bring it all the way down to become a more settled human being. Sorry, down in my DNA, but that's okay for those of us that it is in your DNA. We all need each other. Okay, we all need each other. Sometimes we gotta and sometimes we gotta bring it all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way low. Hey, God loves all of us. So guess what? Be you. Okay, just absolutely be unique. Lead you. And I'm okay with that. Just be your genuine self, because guess what? That's who we need you to be. And with that being said, I come into this here for Black History Month. I want to give a special shout out to my grandfather, my granddaddy, Lionel Ricks. Lionel Ricks, whoop, whoop, whoop. He is the founder, right, of the Chosen Few. You might have heard of the Chosen Few Motorcycle Club, right? So this happened back like the history of it, 1950, about 1959, where it was first founded, established with him. And then he had his he called him firstborn, was right next to him, where it pulled him in with him. And then they had white boy Mike that came in with him. So why am I saying all this? I said because I give honor where honor is due, and my grandfather deserves to be honored for the contributions he's made to our nation in this society at a time in the 60s, where there was a lot of racism happening. And with his motorcycle club, why it was so unique and still remains to this day, is because they were the first interracial motorcycle club. And not just that, they were a multiracial brotherhood. Now imagine how much pressure and stress that was, to have people of different races, different ethnicities rolling together across the United States. Do you think it was easy? Absolutely not. It wasn't easy, but they did it, and they still continue to exist today. And their humble beginnings, let me tell you, they were helping the community. They were doing great and positive things for the community as well. Okay, so in the museum, they have my grandfather's, all the knickknacks and everything that had to do with the history of the Chosen Few. So I give honor where honor is due. And they also have a documentary out about it as well. So when you see that gentle giant, they call him Lionel Riggs, that is my granddaddy, and I'm so proud of him, and I honor him for Black History Month. Okay, so let's go ahead and move it all along, and we're going to move into why we're actually streaming live today. So as I talked about before, this is the book. This is the book, Superwoman, not Superwoman. Okay. Yes, I have other books, but I would like to just go ahead and talk about the chapter in this book that I have, because we will be going live also with Apostle Alicia George, Coach Alicia George, and she will be basically breaking it down for you as well and allowing different authors of this book, phenomenal women of this book, to tell you a little bit about their story and their backgrounds. I'm telling you, there's some really hardcore stories in here, but guess what? They end resiliently. Guess what? It ends with a glimpse of hope and a glimpse of light. But guess what? These women have been able to rebound and reset their lives. Guess what? These women are still thriving and vibing and doing what they need to do to walk in their calling, to complete their assignments. This is big. This is huge. You know, how many of you are still looking to go forward and move forward big, right? Move forward strong, move forward, bet on you. This is what this is all about. So in this book, there is my chapter is chapter 5. It is called The Weight of the Cape, a time for everything under the sun. I got that from Ecclesiastes 3, right? So I'll just read you my first little section of this was just the first chapter. Looking over my life, I can genuinely say that I am blessed and highly favored, but I also know it came with a cost. Mm-hmm. God seems to always be working things out for my good. He continues to give me beauty for ashes for the most challenging times of my life. I'm kind of telling you, I'm walking through one right now. As far back as I can remember, I had to muster the inner courage to choose to wear the cape. And sometimes the weight of the cape felt unbearable. Anybody know what I'm talking about? There were times that I wore the cape, times that I did not want to wear it, and times that I kept the cape on for way too long. The need to wear the cape came at pivotal times in my life, and just like I am in right now. And although sometimes I dreaded putting it on, I knew that if I didn't do what was necessary, no one else would. Can somebody vibe with me and hear what I'm saying here to you? If you can, go ahead and drop something down in the chat box about a time that you felt exactly like this. That you dreaded putting the cape on, but you had to put it on anyway because nobody else was going to do it. So then you had to step up to the plate to do it. How many of you out there are just like that? You feel like you're experiencing something like that. It's a very, very important to know, because we talk about the weight of the cape. The weight of the cape, um, it can just be unbearable, seem unbearable at times. The weight of the cape can just be so draining on you as you're trying to go through life and do everything, all these different hats that you actually wear. And the weight of the cape can just be so grueling on your body, on your mind, on your spirit, on your soul. It really can, right? And knowing that, what do we do when we come to this crossroad and we have to decide if we're going to put on that cape or not? It's not like we just want to just go throw on these different things that happen to bring all this hardship onto our life. No, most people don't want to do that. That's insane, right? We're like, no, we don't want to do that to ourselves. But sometimes we have no choice in the matter. Well, we always have a choice, but sometimes we got to make the hard choice. The hard choice of doing what we don't want to do, but we know we have to do it, because if we don't do it, we ain't not going to move forward the way we need to go. Or we know someone else is going to suffer even more than we're going to have to suffer. Or sometimes we just got to get it done. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know somebody can vibe with me and understand what I'm communicating with you right now. Well, guess what? That cape here, the C.A.P.E, it means a little bit something different. Yes, I had to choose. I was so happy when Alicia George came up with this. You know why? Because I was wearing that cape that she was talking about. Like that Superwoman cape. I was wearing that cape and I was getting burned out. And I was doing pretty well of wearing that cape because I had learned how to multitask. But guess what? Getting not a lot of things were getting done. I start this, I got this going on here, I got this going on here, my foot's over here on the pot here, and my arm is over here, my little pinky is here, and then my little toe is there. And then it's like a lot of the things I could have been moving forward, they were going nowhere. And sometimes, guess what? It was out of necessity. It wasn't always that I was putting those things upon myself, but it was out of necessity that I was stretched thin. And that wasn't my fault that I was stretched thin. It was other people's fault that did not want to take responsibility, making me have to step up and take responsibility that was never mine in the first place, or was partially mine. Because somebody understand what I'm saying there? Yeah. So sometimes that's what I'm talking about, that the weight of the cape. can be so unbearable. It can just be so just stressful. It can be so distressing. But guess what? The weight of the cape is sometimes necessary, because the cape that I'm talking about is when we consciously accept, okay, the pressures of life, the pressures that to different circumstances bring upon us. We consciously accept the pressures purposefully. Because, see, some of these things are only a test. It's testing our will. It's testing what we really say we wanted. It's testing if we're to see if we're really going to push forward to continue towards the dreams that we have for ourselves and our families. It's testing us to see what we're really made of. If we really walk in faith, if we really have that tenacity to move forward big, move forward even stronger, even when people have counted us out. Will we bet back? Will we jump back in, get back in the ring, and will we bet on ourselves? You understand what I'm saying? So this cape with the double P double E, it's talking about when we consciously accept pressure purposely to exceed expectations. How many times have you exceeded other people's expectations? Oh, they counted you out and they thought you wasn't going to do nothing. They sat back and they had their popcorn in their hand with their soda pop and they thought you wasn't going to move forward. Oh, they thought you was down for the count and that you was not going to be able to get back up. But guess what? Like they say, it's not over till the fat woman sings. It's not over till God says it's over. How about that? How about that? Can somebody hear me today? I think that right there deserved a clap. Clap for yourself. That's why I'm clapping, not clapping for me. Clap for yourself, honey, because when they counted you out, honey, you still in the ring. You still going at it, huh? Maybe you fell down, right? But see, when life knocks you down, you got to make up in your mind not to stay down. You got to rejuvenate yourself. You got to renew yourself. You got to reinvent yourself because, honey, life is wonderful. Life can be beautiful and it's worth living. I know maybe life don't seem wonderful for you like for you right now, but there's somebody else in the grave that would beg to differ. That would beg to differ. There's somebody going out right now that would beg to differ. They would say, yes, life could be beautiful and it is worth living. None of us know our time or the hour of the moment, right? I'm gonna be a few of us because it's always never say never, right? God could tell you some things. Some people have an unction and they basically know some things that are about to take place within their lives. But for the most part, people want to live. It's just something, a fight that we have inside of our spirit to want to live and thrive and be, right? Just like plants and animals have this instinct, right? This is for survival. We are built for survival. So a lot of times, I know as many of us out here and we have counted ourselves out, we are down for the count and we don't want to get back up. I had times like that too. Well, I didn't want to get back up. I was like, you know what? It's over. I don't want to get back up. I'm tired of getting back up. I'm tired of continually getting hit and hit and hit. And these blows are coming from every which way. And I do not know how to tangle with all of this. I'm handling this. And then the fire is over here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do all this. Wait a minute. I take the cape and throw it off. And guess what? That cape some kind of way flew right back in here and was back in my closet. And I said, ah, doggone it. What's happening? By golly. Oh, wow. How did this get back in my closet? I don't want the cape. Take it back. And it said, honey, you got some dreams and aspirations, some things that need to transpire in your life. And that cape got to go back on. It's just for a season. Sometimes we got to wear a cape. Sometimes we keep the cape on too long, and we should have took it off. But that was not our weight to carry because we're getting in other things that don't belong to us. And sometimes other people want to jump out the ring and they don't want to wear the cape. And then you got to jump in there and do it for them because you're doing it for other folks that can't do it for themselves, like the children. I know this stuff gets rough. It does get rough, right? But guess what? Think back to the time. Who has been your weight bearing walls through life? And when I talk about these weight bearing walls, I'm talking about, when builders build a structure, they have to have weight bearing walls in there to make sure that the different materials that they use and it's going to add some weight to the structure, right, of what they're building. And because of that, they have to position these buttresses. Okay, so they place these buttresses. It's like something that's projected up against um, to support like bricks or stone. It's like put up against in the corners to support it, to project it, right? To make sure it's stabilized. This is important. Who has been the stabilizer in your life? Who has been your weight bearing walls through your life? Because, see, when I consciously accepted the pressure purposely to exceed expectations, I had some buttresses. I had some weight bearing walls. I wasn't all alone by myself. If God didn't send them, then they were already assigned to me. Do you hear me? Like my grandmother was a buttress for me. She was a weight bearing wall. Like my Auntie Latrice, she was a weight bearing wall. Do you kind of hear what I'm saying here? The reason I was able to propel myself and move forward as far as I've gotten today is because other people decided to become weight bearing walls for me. Some of you know what I'm talking about now. I wanted to give those examples, and I can continue to go forward on and say today who's been my buttress and been my weight bearing walls as I've had to, you know, uh, endure these different harsh circumstances in life. And you too. See, it rains on the just and the unjust alike. There's a time for everything under the sun, for everybody. Sometimes things hit us, and we like, where did this come from? I didn't even see this coming. Like the sermon is out the window because this is like the past this. Like, no, even with the sermon, I don't think I would have been able to pick up on something like this. I'm just saying that's for me. I'm talking about me, personally, me. You know, you can't quite pinpoint it. You know it's something, but you can't quite pinpoint it all the way, right? Yeah. Sometimes we don't choose the weight that we have to face in life, these things that weigh us down and try to take us out. Some of these things try to come and knock us out for the count. I'm telling you, like this weight tries to wrap around us, keep us this way, and then just take us down, take us under. It wants to take us out. He prowls around like a roaring lion. What are he doing? Seeking for who he can devour. Yeah, you got too much bright light up in you, honey. Yes, you do. You have a clear path to go forth and take hold of what God has called you to do. Do you think when we go from glory to glory, it's going to be something that's going to be easy? No, it's easier said than done. It's like, have you ever seen that visualization and it's showing a person on the bike and the person's trying to get from where their starting point all the way to the end? And we think it's just a straight linear line. No, honey, it's going to come dips, and here we are, and it's just dipping and going through, and then plateauing off, and then dipping back in the valley and coming up the hill, and now we're back in the mountains. That's life for us. And a lot of times, like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. But who we decide to become during this time, that's all up to us. And it does matter. Sometimes, if you found yourself, I found myself before running. Like I was just done. I was like, I'm done. I don't want any more of this. I'm just done. I don't even think I want to have this life anymore. Like, have you ever been there where you just like, it's just too much to bear? I don't even know why these things are coming at me back to back. What in the world? This is crazy. Who goes through this, all of this stuff all the time? What is this pressure? Why so much pressure for me? Pressure produces diamonds. None of us like it. None of us like being crushed like olives. Do you like being crushed like olives? Who likes olive oil? That 100% virgin olive oil. Yeah, who likes to be crushed like that? Not too many of us. I'm telling you, I wouldn't raise my hand. I'll be all the way in the back, head down. Don't look at me. I'm not the one. Don't choose me. Wait a minute. Some people's like, oh, Lord, I'll go. Are you really? Are you sure? Are you telling the Lord you're going to go? Now, I'll go to battle. Don't get me wrong. I can get in there and battle. I don't have a problem doing that. Okay? That's my lingo. But when you talking about over here and have to go through all the way, I didn't know this was the type of battle we was talking about, Lord. Hold up. Wait a minute. Right? We got to gain a different perspective. The different perspective that I'm talking about that's coming here in the chapter that I have, Superwoman, not Superwoman. I'm not advocating for being a superwoman, but what I am advocating is for the times in life that we're being tested, or the times in life that the things are getting very, very difficult for us, and the pressure is on and it's real. And a lot of times we just want to throw our hands in and give up. There's some other strategies and tools that we can use, right, to get ourselves prepared. Because we got to figure out who we need to become in that moment to weather that storm. When we have a different perspective about this pressure that happens in our lives and these things that show up, we have to consciously accept pressure purposefully, right? Because to exceed expectations. And it's very important for us to do that, not because we want to be cocky and let people know that we're all of that, which we are because we're made in the image of God. I'm going to let that soak in for a minute. I know a lot of us try to like turn our lights down. God said, do not hide your light underneath a bushel. There's a difference for being prideful and cocky, you know, and the difference when we talk about humble, people think it's supposed to be where you shut your mouth and don't say nothing. No, it ain't. It just means that you don't think you're better than anybody else. It doesn't mean that you don't operate in your gifting, that you don't operate in your calling with superiority. You know why? Because we move in excellence and we do the best that we can do. And we don't know better than when we do know better, we do better, right? It doesn't mean that you have to sit there and be quiet and let people walk over you. That's not what it's talking about there. We got to gain a different perspective about this thing here. What area of your life do you need to consciously accept pressure purposefully to exceed the expectations? Exceed expectations from other people. Think that you're not going to be able to make it. You're not going to be able to do it, that she can't do it. Look at her. Look at him. He think he's going to be able to do what? And she left him and he's this and he over there. That he even got that little girl hair all messed up. He don't know how to dress her. Look at this over here. Single dad, what he doing? And look at her over there. I don't know what she thinks she doing. She doing all that like she finna get somewhere. She ain't going to get nowhere. She going to be in the hood just like the rest of us. Oh, she thinks she going where? There, that don't make you know what nobody because you got this and that. Oh, you Dr. Lakeisha Matisse? Yes, I am. Well, I don't know how she thinks she is. What that mean about what? Guess what? Exceed people's expectations. You know why? Because serve the Lord in excellence. And this life that He's given you, He's given me. Do the best that you can to let Him know every single day that you do the best you can to let Him know that you appreciate Him giving you life, that you're not being wasteful. I wasted some years of my life. I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. I was hard headed sometimes. Most of the times I was clueless. Whichever you want to choose, I didn't get it. But I thank God as I started to mature and started to really spend the time that I needed to spend with Him and really to delve deeper into who I was and who I was becoming and the things I didn't like, the things I'm still working, some things I'm still working on today. Okay. I had to really check myself. And as I check myself and I say, okay, is that who you want to be? Is that your best version of yourself for this particular time period in your life? And how are you doing this? Or why are you worried about everybody else and what they're saying? God is your judge. He is the one who has the measuring stick. That's what you need to be concerned and worry about, not man. Not man. A lot of times you're not completing your purpose because you're worried about him, her, and he, and she. God ordains you. Yes, you can be ordained through other ministries. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But God ordains you. There's plenty of ministers out here, and they're ordained through God. Who am I to tell you that God didn't tell you who you are? You better operate in it. Listen, at the end of the day, you don't stand before me. I ain't the Pharisees or the Sadducees or the Zealots. You stand before God just like me. And you got to give account to the Lord, just like I got to give account to the Lord. You're not talking for me, and I'm not talking for you. Whatever floats your boat and whatever you're doing, do it in the best of your ability. Do it right. Do it in the spirit of excellence. That conversation's between you and God. All I'm here to do is try to help you to make it, to help you to get to your next level, to help you to move forward resiliently, to help you rebound and reset your life so that you can come on back in and retreat, get yourself together, get rejuvenated, get renewed in some areas of your life, get reinvented in some areas of your life so you can be able to go back out there in that field and be who you're supposed to be, who you was placed on this earth to be. Is that all right with somebody? Is that all right? And if I can do this by you under the sound of my voice, then let it be so. If I can do this by bringing you some information and breaking it down to you in a way that is feasible for you to be able to connect it in your neurons and they're firing back and forth and you're making connections in your brain, you're growing new brain cells, then let it be so. Let it be so. My brothers and my sisters, let it be so, because this is important. We got to have a different perspective. And not only that, I want to know, are you ready to rebound and reset your life? What's holding you back from moving forward in your life to do the things that you need to do, that you want to do? What is that one thing? You don't have to tell nobody else, but what is that one thing that's stopping you from rebounding your life, from bouncing back to bet on you? What is one thing in your life that's stopping you from resetting the area of your life that you know will give you the most bang for your buck? That means put you on the right track, put you back on course, right? That you will be in alignment with what your purpose is for this season, for this time, for what you carry. Mm. Do you know what you're carrying? Each and every one of us are fearfully and wonderfully made. And guess what? Who we decide to become based on our DNA, our spiritual DNA, that's totally up to us. If we choose to believe, have the belief system that we are who He says we are, then we will become that, right? We will operate in that. We will learn, right? As we give more time over to surrendering and becoming who He has created us to become. Or we can just brush it to the side like it really means nothing, taking our birthright and tossing it to the side. I was doing that for a very long time when I was a youngster. Yeah, I knew God from a very young age, but I was still taking my birthright and just tossing it over like I didn't understand. I didn't understand how to operate it. I didn't understand what to do with it. I understand why it was so important, why it was so vital for me. I didn't get it. All right, that's totally understandable. But I'm asking you right now: are you ready to rebound and reset your life? Is there something different that you know you need to do in your life? The pressure of this life is just it's real. So for this book, Superwoman, not Superwoman, it's time. If you've been operating as a superwoman, it's time to take off the cape. The weight of the cape is so heavy. And it does things to us spiritually, mentally, physically, right? But to become a superb woman does not mean that you don't wear a cape. It's just a different type of cape. You know when to put it on and when to take it off. Because remember, you must consciously change the perspective. That cape I'm talking about is C.A.P.E. Consciously accept pressure purposefully to exceed expectations. Who's ready to do it? When they count you out, I'm asking you to count yourself back in. Count yourself back in. Guess what? You know how they say, make their mouths drop open. He did what? She did what? Guess what? How he do that? How she do that? Hmm. Work in silence sometime. And guess what? Let your success make the noise for you. Yes. It doesn't matter who's counted you out. It doesn't matter what people have said about you and talked about you and downgraded you. Guess what? Don't let people write your story for you. You pick up the pen and you write your own story. It's time for you to pick up your pen and write your own story. Rewrite your story. Don't go back to the past. We don't need that. We're talking about from right here to this point, 7:45, 7:47 actually, here at PST Standard Time on February 19th, 2024. I'm asking you, go ahead and pick up your pen and rewrite your story. Because guess what? It's possible. And your growth, you to rebound and reset, is possible. Okay. So, in order for you to request a copy, if you want a signed copy of this book, and remember, we're going to be with Alicia George as well, and she's going to be talking about this book because she is, this compilation was done through her. Okay. So, Superb Woman, not Superwoman. You can go ahead and get your copy, signed copy for me on my chapter, which is chapter 5, The Weight of the Cape, A Time for Everything Under the Sun. In this description box, you'll see it's going to have my email. It's my first name, last name, enterprises@gmail.com. Lakeisha Matisse Enterprises@gmail.com. Yeah, because this is for you. And just read all of the different stories of the amazing women who have been through some things and how they have bounced back big to be very resilient in what is actually taking place with them. Oh my God. Get some, these testimonies that's coming from this book because it's big. And not only that, we know how we overcome, right? The blood of the Lamb, but the word of their testimonies. We need to hear other stories of people who are making, people who've been able to do exceptional things when they had all the naysayers and all the people talking all the smack behind their backs, in front of their faces, snickering from the back rows. But guess what, baby? It's your time to bloom. I'm telling you, it's your time to bloom. 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 So join our tribe. So what does tribe stand for us? Together, resiliently inspiring brilliance, ever blooming. Because we should be ever blooming like we're going from glory to glory, which is not an easy job. And you're going to take some attacks and you're going to get hit. Okay. And that's why we about to hit. What are we talking about rebounding and resetting? We have to continuously rebound and reset in our lives. We got to assess the damage. We got to figure out what it is. That means we got to retreat. We don't retreat because we're tucking, we're just running away and we're ducking and trying to dodge. And yeah, I used to do that sometimes because I was just exhausted. I was just burned out. But when we start maturing in Christ and understanding who we are as a sonship and who we are as the daughters of the King and the sons of the King, listen, we stand up a little bit differently. We come with a force to be reckoned with a little bit differently. Can you hear me here? Yes, we do, because we believe, because faith without works is dead. And we got to move in faith. So we support each other, we uplift each other, and just like iron sharpens iron, guess what? So do we. So, with that being said, together we resiliently inspire brilliance ever blooming. That is what our tribe does. Yes, because it's very important for us to do that one for another. Each one teach one, each one uplift one. If we all do it for one another, guess what? It's just like we have this path that continues to go around and around and around, and then it leads, the burden is not so heavy for one person to have to carry if we're all doing in this together. So find your community, connect with your tribe. Your tribe should be together, resiliently inspiring brilliance ever blooming. Because if they're not, if you got some haters in your team or some people who are not letting you be and thrive and be the unique self that God has created you to be, that's not the space or the place for you. You need a place that people are accepting of who you are, in a way, what I mean of that, allowing you to be you. Right now, I'm not talking about being you if it's a destructive you or something like that, because that means, hey, you need to get, hey, I love you too much to just let you stay like this. Come on now, get it together. I want you around, right? That's different. But I'm talking about with somebody, just because you move a little bit differently with your gifting, you move a little bit more differently with your personality. Maybe you're not a person that's all the way out there. You kind of reserved and you're low key. That's fine. Or maybe you're out there, you're just gung ho out there and you just have high energy, that's fine too. But we got to be who we are and operate the way we operate, and stop trying to do things in this traditional way where we got to break out of the box and do it differently, because it's not working. A lot of people are out here still suffering, and they're still got mental illnesses going down every single day. We got our kids that are suffering with things that are mental, even more. We're talking about pandemic. Some of this stuff is to start manifesting itself because the world was able to slow down and catch up a little bit and say, what in the world? Our self was all the way up here and we were back here still trying to catch up with ourselves. So then we want to see how all this stuff start manifesting. Some of that stuff that was already there just start coming out the woodworks. My God, real talk. That's a whole different conversation. We do have coming up, your body keeps the score. I have myself and a couple other intelligent individual sisters that will be joining in and talking about that. And it will be on my podcast, Unique Art to the Power of Three Podcast Network. And I'll be sharing it out. But we're going to be reading through the book and then talking about what we find interesting for that, and some of the things that we have experienced in our lives, and how it correlates to some of the items, some of the messaging from the book, because it's important. Like, we have to assess the damage. That's one of the big things that I always talk about, assessing the damage and recognizing where we're at and how we got there, right? But we don't stay there. We just want to do that so we don't make the same mistakes, and we can figure out if there's some kind of pattern within us that needs to be broken. If there's some kind of stronghold that still exists that we need to deal with, that we need to take before the King, and so that he can dismantle that thing, the Holy Spirit, let it be. Come on with it, right? Let me just introduce here, almost off of here. So this is 5 action steps to live your best life now. And this is something I've authored to. This is basically on Amazon. And then I have another one. And this is here is, if you can see it here. Let's try to bring it this way. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So this is poetic expressions, right? From the soul. And this is a creative therapy through spoken word, but it's like bibliotherapy. So basically, it's like by reading, or I say writing too, but it's by reading certain literatures, and then it's helping you with your life, right? This is what it's all about for me. I do have this, which I'm revamping right now. So that's why it's just an alter copy here. This is how I'm learning to reset my life. This is actually my first book. Well, not my first book I wrote. The other one, it was like, Are You My Father? A cub's journey to finding his father, But this is Rising from the Ashes series. I'm still working on the second edition of this one, so that'll be out soon. And then I have another compilation I was a part of, and this was the chain breaking experience here. And this chain breaking experience, this is actually by Coach Ashley Blanchard. She's all, you can find her all on Facebook. Okay. You can find her all on Facebook. But you can get this book for me too. This is one of those compilations where you also have to email me if you wanted this book. This is a lot of richness in here too. It's talking about breaking mental strongholds, and it's talking about there's different women in here as well, and they're talking about their journeys when the bird breaks free from the cage. Daughter of the King, surrender and tap in. That is mine all day long. I am a daughter of the King. I am going to surrender, and guess what? I'm gonna tap in. Sometimes we tap out, and I decide to tap in because I know that he came to give me life more abundantly. And I want to live that abundant life, man. I really do. I've looked back over my life and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, mercy and your grace has kept me. And I want to live that abundant life. How many of you want to live that abundant life? Well, we got to start working to move in that direction, right? Coming together so our brilliance helps each other to be able to have that light just start to, your light can be so bright that you got enough to give. You got enough to give to those others who may need your light so that it can ignite them as well, right? And this is like the back of the book. Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. I have another friend that's also in this book here. That's Coach Ashley Blanchard. So that's pretty cool. I have another one, is 8 Strategies, and that's coming. Awaken to More, 8 Strategies to Rebound and Reset Your Life. That will be coming out soon. I haven't did the pre-launch on it yet because I'm trying to get to that, how I'm learning to reset my life. Also, I'm going to be I'm teaching for them, have a manual for the 8 strategies, because I believe that is something that will help people to bounce back big and to help people to just go through the steps and the strategies and what it actually takes to get them on steady ground. I just want people to be on steady ground, right? Because guess what? On Christ the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Who remembers that? On Christ the solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Yeah, I just want people to stand on that solid ground. I just want people to thrive. I just want people to bounce back big. I want people to tap back in. Yes, and to bet on themselves. Yes. I want people to be able to exceed expectations. Yes. Why? Because of the bright light that we have inside of us when we have Christ inside of us. Because of the Holy Spirit who is able to empower us, and He's our greatest teacher. Because we only got this one life to live, so we might as well live it out to the fullest of our ability and capacity at this time. We might as well just take life by its, and just say, give me all that you got. Contend for your blessing. Contend for it. That is what I say. Contend. Continue to contend for your blessings. Continue to contend for your family. Continue to stand in the gap for those in your tribe, those that you love, those that you honor. Continue to do it. We don't always get it right, but guess what? One day, on our last day, we're going to look back and we're going to ask ourselves, did I live a life that is worthy? Did I live a life that was worthy? Right? Whatever that looks like to you. That's your journey. That's your story. So if it's time to turn it around, then turn it around. Leave here with no regrets. As minimum as possible when it comes to regrets. Because you deserve that. You deserve the best version of yourself. You really do. You deserve a great life. And sometimes it's time to clean out the house. Yeah. It's time to shift your paradigm and to go elsewhere, even your territory, your boundaries. Yeah. Sometimes you got to shift that too. Yeah. That's more in my book, How I'm Learning to Reset My Life. It talked about my journey of how I was able to reset my life. Resets actually started in 2017, right? When I was on a journey to reset myself, and I invited other women to come along on the journey because I know I wasn't the only woman trying to figure out what I was going to do, what my next steps were, and trying to get closer to God and what He had for me in life. Nah, I wasn't, and I'm still not today, right? And that's why we got this tribe. All right. That's why we got this tribe. Now, I'm going to leave you on a positive note with this because this is really cool. Because I want you to count yourself back in. I want you to really, really take this to heart when I say this. And I'm going to try to remember all the words to it. Not sure if I'll be able to, but hey, I'll try anyway. Right. All right. So this one I know is like Kilpatrick. I remember it was like some words to a song I remember a long time ago. It turned into like a poetry. Right. And it goes like this. You ready for this? This is for you. See, you're at a standstill and you're at an impasse, and your mountain of dreams seem harder to climb by those who have made you feel like an outcast because you dare to be different. Now they're drawing the line. They call you a fool. They feed you resistance. They tell you ain't gonna never go very far. But see, they'll be the same ones who stand in the distance alone in the shadow of your shining star. You just keep on the same road and you keep on your toes and you keep that heart as steady as it goes. And you let them call you what they will. You just remember a rose by any other name is still a rose. See, the kindness of strangers, it seems like a fable, but they've yet to see what I see in you. Because you can make it if you're able to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. You just keep on the same road, you keep on your toes, and you keep that heart as steady as it goes, and you let them call you what they will. You just remember a rose by any other name is still a rose. They heckle from back rows. They bark at the moon. But see, their time is fading and time's been a garden, but baby, yours is only beginning to bloom. So you keep on that same road and you keep on your toes and you keep that heart as steady as it goes. And you let them call you what they will. You just remember that a rose by any other name is still a rose. And baby, you still a flower. This is Dula Lakeisha Matisse, and I am chiming out here and say, be blessed now and keep your head up. It's time to rebound and reset.